All right, so it's been 9 days. 9 days since the Pacers knocked out the Knicks. 6 days, I've been counting, 6 days since the Knicks knocked out Tom Thibodeau. And again, the thing is, if you make a move like that, you better have something lined up. If you're going to fire a coach who's taking you deeper in the playoffs than you've been in a quarter century, you better have a plan. And I said that at that time. But I've laid out and I've kind of watched that thing develop, trying to see exactly what their plan is. I'm starting to think they don't have one. Follow me on this. I'm starting to think the Knicks don't have a plan. They just want to fire the guy. Yeah, I know, it's crazy. Crazy to think, and let me take you back, in case you've forgotten. Crazy to think that a team that cycled through the likes of Don Chaney, Herb Williams, Lenny Wilkins, Herb Williams again, Larry Brown, and Isaiah Thomas, all in a 4-year period, might not have a plan at head coach. You know, crazy, right? Except that is the world we live in. You mean to tell me that the same team that had D. Fish, one half of the Rambi, and Jeff Hornacek as their head coach in a matter of minutes is not totally buttoned up when it comes to coaching searches? Sidebar, I don't know what's more incredible, that Jeff Hornacek coached the Knicks or that I barely remember that Jeff Hornacek coached the Knicks. I don't even think that Jeff Hornacek remembers that he coached the Knicks. So, Saturday. I bring this up because of this. Saturday came news that Jay Wright was not interested.
That's right.
Oh, hell no. Get out of here. No way. Jay Wright is not interested? You mean the guy who retired a few years ago and has been absolutely killing it as a broadcaster, who has never looked happier or more relaxed? A guy who's never coached an NBA game doesn't want to coach the Knicks. No way. Man, I'm shocked. I'm stunned. Of course I'm not. Of course he didn't want that job. This guy's name is going to come up for every coaching job for the next 5 or 8 years, I'm sure. And I'm guessing he'll show about as much interest in any of those gigs as he didn't show in this gig. Even if he did have an interest in coaching again, which I doubt, but even if he did, there wasn't a chance in hell that he was going to take this job. Villanova and the front office connections or not, Jay Wright was not taking that job. You know why? He just saw a guy get iced 72 hours after going to the conference finals. You're telling me he's not rushing off the beach to beat down that door at MSG? Come on, man. Then you have a report from today's guest, Vincent Goodwill, who's going to join me later on this hour, that the firing of Thibs was, quote, spearheaded by Knicks owner James Dolan, end of quote. I mean, of course. According to Vincent's sources, Dolan, and this is rich, Dolan was never, ever a huge Thibodeau fan through the years, which to me is incredible. And it's awesome. As a reminder, considering he was never a fan of the guy, he did sign the guy to a 3-year extension less than a year ago. And that extension doesn't even start until next year. But they're firing him now. So he never liked the guy, signed him to an extension. The extension hasn't kicked in yet, and they're firing him. So you gave that guy $30 million last summer. You committed $30 million to him, but you were never a big fan because that makes so much sense. Man, that is the best. That is the Knicks dysfunction at its finest. Most Knicks thing ever. You don't like the guy, but give him a $30 million extension. As always, make that make sense. And if you dislike the guy before the extension, how much do you hate him now after you fired him and have to pay him off? How much must you hate this guy despite him getting you within 2 games of the NBA Finals to pay him $30 million not to coach, $30 million just to go away, $30 million when the extension still hasn't even kicked in yet? It's almost like Dolan is afraid that we're going to forget how horrible an owner he is. Don't worry, dude. Nobody's ever going to forget that because you won't let us. And yes, I've seen all the stuff that's come out about how the exit meetings went and some of the players didn't like Thibodeau and that there were complaints that he overplayed his starting players. And my reaction to that is this, that he overplayed his starters. Right. And this is this dude. This is what he's done everywhere he's gone. He drives dudes crazy hard. He pushes them hard. He plays his starters absurd minutes in the regular season, and then they get burned out by the time they get to the postseason. Right. He's been doing that for more than a decade as an NBA head coach. It's kind of his brand. It's what he does. It's who he is. The dude is competitive, man. He hates to lose any game, ever, even if it's in November. The smarter play would be to concede an early season game so that you can develop your bench and rest your starters, but that's not how he rolls. It never has been. And you know for a fact, in terms of developing that bench, you know for a fact he looked over at that garbage bench that they gave him, and he had even less interest in trying to develop it. Like, for who? For what? That aside, my point is, you're all just figuring this out now about Thibs. That's like being shocked that Jalen Brunson and Karl Anthony Towns aren't exactly Gary Payton and Wemby on the defensive end. You know, again, right? And listen, I'm not saying this guy is the perfect coach. What I am saying again is he took that team deeper in the playoffs than they've been since Patrick Ewing and Patrick Ewing's knee sleeves were on that team. I'm not saying that the last conference finals run was a long time ago, except Rick Brunson was on that team. And now his kid is the star of the team. So I am saying that was a long time ago. So firing this guy for driving guys hard or playing his starters a ton of minutes or not developing a bench is like firing him for that ridiculous comb over. Like, damn, dude, shave it already. If you're not going to shave it already, hit the freaking bricks. You're embarrassing us with that embarrassing comb over. I mean, it makes about as much sense. Again, just finding out that's who this guy is and firing him for it is like finding out that he only has 3 strands of hair left on his dome and he hits it with the product. He hits it with product and then he combs it over. Fire him for that too. You know who this guy is. You know who he is. You know what he does. And by the way, who he is and what he does got you within 2 games of the NBA Finals. How do you not know? And if you're going to fire him, and you do know, how do you not have a plan for him? Jay Wright was not a plan. Jay Wright was a desperate and nonsensical hope. Jay Wright was never coming. How do you not know that? Oh, well, he'll come. He knows the front office. He knows all the Villanova guys. Man, Jay Wright wasn't coming. So now what, Jason Kidd? Yeah, one problem with that. Jason Kidd's got 2 years left on his current deal in Dallas. And you still have to ask the Mavs for permission to speak with him. And according to The Athletic, as of this morning, the Knicks haven't even done that yet. Oh, and then there's this part. Everybody expects the Mavs to deny the Knicks permission. So again, tell me, what is the plan? Other than firing the guy that got you within 2 games of the NBA Finals. I mean, what's the plan? Maybe they figured out something with Dallas, but that feels like that's going to take a lot of work. And it sure seems like that wasn't lined up when they fired Thibs. Maybe Horny. Maybe you can go back that route. Maybe Horny can lob his old Jazz teammate Greg Ostertag a call and see if he wants it. Now, of course, my dude Michael Malone is available. Michael Malone is great. Michael Malone has a ring, but Michael Malone pushes dudes hard. And if Knicks players are crying about how hard Thibs pushed them, how are they going to play for Malone, who's going to be just as demanding? Right? You always go the other way when you fire a guy. These guys are pretty similar. So there are other coaches out there, but how many of them are guaranteed to be better than the guy they just fired? Because that's where the bar is right now, right? Now everybody knows they fired a guy who didn't get to the finals. They fired a guy who didn't win at all. So who out there is a guy that can deliver that? It wouldn't be hard to beat the D-Fish or Jeff Hornacek eras in New York. But the Knicks should be better than that. I hate to say it, but Knicks gonna Nick, right? That's why the only banners this crew has been hanging of late are Billy Joel banners. Billy Joel concert banners. But, maybe Dolan throws it back. I like Horny. I always liked Horny. Even if I forgot that Horny was their head coach. And I almost did. But if Dolan says, you know what? Why don't we throw it back? Why don't we go back? I always like Jeff Hornacek. Maybe Dolan thinks that. If he does end up with Jeff Hornacek, when the Knicks travel to Frisco to play Golden State, hopefully Horny and Warrior assistant coach, my man, Jerry Stackhouse, can relive this glorious moment. I'm talking about this infamous moment. Check this out. You know how I always say bam. Bam! Oh, bam. Horny's like, that didn't hurt. Right, if you're watching on the stream right now, that was... I'm guessing... I don't even need to guess. That was not Stack's first time letting them hands go. That's second shot. Bam! Right there. As I've said many times, in the NBA, and I've heard NBA players talk about this, they know who will go and who won't. Stack very clearly will go. That wasn't one of those hold me back, hold me back. That's like, where is his face? I'm going to go abuse it with my fists. Stack's not one to be trifled with. Like, I love Stack, and Stack still scares me.
I can't control my horny level.
If there's any doubt that the NBA used to be more physical than it is right now, just look at that video. You know what, though? Credit to Horny. Horny just kind of smiled like it didn't hurt when you know it did. Dang. That right hand had very bad intentions. Very bad intentions. Don't mess with Stack. Not then, not now, not ever. Anyway, so what are they going to do? What is the plan? Still waiting. I just wanted the weekend to pass by and see if anything developed. The only development over the weekend was Jay Wright said, no, I'm good. I don't want anything to do with that.
No.
As predicted.
Right.